So we'll answer as many questions as we can throughout the next hour. What you do to ask your question is you click on the Q&A button at the bottom of the Zoom screen, type your question in. I'm going to be fielding those questions for you, and we'll keep things moving pretty quickly. All right, Arash, I'm going to bring you on with me. Good morning, and how are you?
Good morning, Mike. I'm great. How are you?
I am doing great as well. I'm always excited for Friday because I like to see what questions everyone has, where the content is hitting, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. This first question, how do I find my passion, the work I absolutely love to do, and build a career out of it, especially if I'm pursuing a different career now?
Well, the first thing we have to do is we have to decide how we want to live. And I would write out all the things you love. Write out all the things you love. I remember years ago, I got such great advice. And it said, whatever you do, do what you love. And no matter what you do. Forget about the money, because the money always comes when you do what you love. And that was some of the best advice I had ever received. And that's what I started focusing on. So to find your passion, your passion is going to find you. There's certain things you love. For me, it started with sports. Like, I love sports. So I thought I was going to do something with sports. And as I started putting my energy towards it, then this purpose took me over. And this was greater for me. And sports is one of my greatest hobbies. But, you'll find what you do once you get out of the way. But write out what you love doing and start doing the things you love. We want to live a joyful life. Happiness is fun is very, very superficial. Joy and happiness is a choice. It's a way. So when we're doing what we love, that's you're going to start getting more aware of that. Perfect.
This next question is from Benny. When starting a business, do you start it full-time or as a side hustle until you make it full-time?
It depends your situation. Like, I started it full-time, but you can start it part-time depending on your situation. The key is, if you're building a business, is you've got to put a lot of energy into the business because that's the only way it's going to grow. The business is always a direct reflection of you. As you grow, so does your business. So if you're doing it part-time, you've got to commit every day to spending 3 to 4 hours on your business, or else it's not going to grow.
Mm-hmm. All right. This next question is from Jeremy. Any methods you found helpful to ensure that you took massive action or even any action towards your goal, an ideal you really love?
Yeah. Action is a fundamental key to success. So I didn't just take any action. It was the right action. So you have to take action that's going towards your goal. If I took just action without any enthusiasm, without any direction, without any purpose, it wasn't going to be effective. So you have to focus. Even if it's just one action step, you've got to do it. Action is what activates the laws in the universe on our behalf. When we're in action, nothing is going to move. So you have to take right action towards your goal. That's why the goal is the cause of everything. And so absolutely, without action, it's delusion.
All right, this next question is from Michael. Hello, good afternoon. My question is the following: how to develop the faculty of intuition to be guided by God?
Well, God is always guiding you. It's whether you're listening. And intuition is in you, Michael, every second of the day. It's whether you're open to it. And so you want to start trusting it with the little things. When we start trusting it is how you're going to build your intuition. Everybody is intuitive. There's not one person who's walking this planet that isn't intuitive. Some are more connected to their intuition than others. Your higher faculties are so important. Like, I can't even begin to stress this. Your higher faculties, intuition is one, is our ability to connect to the invisible. And they're no different than our eyes to our body or our ears to our body. So we want to understand our will, our perception, our memory, our reasoning, our imagination, and our intuition. Those are our superpowers that you connect to the invisible world. And that's where creation starts. And so Just because we all see we have eyes, and we have ears, that's connected to the body, the higher faculties, most people never use them for themselves. They're always using them against themselves. Intuition is my greatest faculty. Like, I coach based on intuition. Everything I do is based on intuition, but I built it over years of trusting it.
Mm-hmm. Raj, this next question, how can I determine my blind spots?
Your blind spots, what are you afraid of? What are the stories that you are telling yourself? I was working with a client this morning, and I've been working with him for a while. He was in the corporate world. Now he's out on his own. He's really doing well. But he always defaults to a story. And I said, you've got to stop doing that. I said, you go up, then you come back because you say, oh, that was just I was just attached. I said, when did we allow mediocrity to rule our life, is what I told him. I said, I've never coached you like that, so I don't want you to do it. But I said, this is your blind spot. You love using your past story as a crutch. That's an example. So look at the stories you're telling yourselves. A lot of people won't forgive themselves for past mistakes, so they default to that old story and they become a victim to their past. We've got to forgive ourselves. We've got to always look forward. So if you look at your blind spot, I'll give you the best tool. The magic in the work you're avoiding. Whatever you're avoiding is your blind spot. So take a look at that.
All right. This next question, I would love it if Arash would reprise his insight into why it's so important. W. Clement Stone's response, that's good. It's easy to see that as a conventional positive attitude response, but the way Arash explains it, that's good, is so much deeper than that.
Well, it's a great question. Whoever asked that, that's an excellent thinker right there. That's good. There's a law of polarity. There's an exact opposite to everything. If there's good, there's bad. If there's bad, there's good. If there's up, there's down. So when you look for the good in everything, you're going to find it. Most people are looking for what's missing in everything, and they're going to find it. Like, if I looked at my day today, I could either look at what's good or what's missing. You can always find what's missing, or you can find what's good. But what happens when you make that's good a brain tattoo, your brain eventually is going to look for the good in everything. We want to understand this. When our brain's job is to use the least amount of effort to do an activity, whether it's thinking, whether it's action, it's trying to find the most simple way to do it so it conserves its energy. So when we start programming it to looking at the good in everything, that will be the dominant automatic thinking pattern that's going to activate in your life. So we have an average of 80,000 thoughts a day. That's what the research tells us on brain plasticity. So imagine if that's good was your dominant thinking, what you will start attracting to you. And that's why we want to look at the good in everything.
Okay. This next question, what is one habit you think holds people back?
So, identity for sure. Action is probably the greatest habit that holds people back. Overthinking is another one. Always procrastinate. Procrastination is a habit that's killing people's dreams. And the biggest one, I would tell you, is the story we're telling ourselves of what we're not. These are all parts of things that are holding people back. Like, I have people who really have an intention to do better, but they never make that move. Yesterday I was saying to everybody, like, book a call with one of my coaches. Now, whether you did or didn't will tell you how badly you want something. But if you're not willing to book a call, you're never going to do it. I always think about that old tale of there's a gentleman in church praying to win the lottery. And he says, God, please let me win the lottery. Then there's a tap on his shoulder. It's God saying, you have to buy the ticket. And I think it's a great thing for us to use that tale, because if we're not even willing to make the first step, how can we deserve to receive the rewards? We can't. So, doing it now and operating with urgency is so important.
All right, this next question. One of the things that made more impression on me is about my identity and writing it okay. I've noticed that when I start, I would say, I also am this, because I'm writing, as my coach mentioned, from the person I want to become, but in the today. And if new things come to mind, would it be a double binding message to add them? If I'm excited and passionate and living in the moment, I want to do it right, though.
Well, I want you to not judge it, whether it's right or wrong. You adding to it means you're building a bigger image of yourself. So when we're writing our identity, I always tell people, write it out every day for 7 days, because it's going to keep expanding. And so it's not wrong how you're doing it. The key with it, though, is not just to write it. Writing it activates it into the world. It's giving it energy. But what takes it to the finish line is you become every word of that statement. So let me give you an example. I am so happy and grateful now that I have world-class confidence. I act on ideas right away, and I am getting better and better, healthier and healthier, and more prosperous every day. Let's say that was somebody's identity. What I would be, if this was me, I'd say to myself throughout the day, have I been acting confident? Have I been acting more and more prosperous? Have I been getting out of my comfort zone? We have to become that statement. When we become it, everything on the outside is going to reshape it. It's not just writing it and repeating it. It's being that and acting the part of that script all day long.
Mm-hmm. All right, this next question. Successful people have the right frame of mind. They're deliberate and want to see results. What are 1 to 2 non-negotiables to bring more power into the morning routine to speed up results?
You've got to be intentional. Intention is frequency of thought. So the morning routine, if you do it just to check a box, it has very little effectiveness. You want to look at it as, I'm going to be 1% more intentional and get more emotionally involved when you're doing anything. The more emotional involvement, being detached, the outcome is already done, is going to bring it to you a lot quicker.
Okay. This next question. First of all, I would like to thank you very much for sharing this kind of information for free. It might be the greatest love for the world. Hearing this information, I feel my heart quivering. I don't know what it means. My question is, I would like to understand how I can think and act and behave like the person who has already achieved my goal. For I think that the person that is earning $100,000 per month doesn't think they take actions. They travel when they want to go buy cars, when they want to help people, when they help the people they want. How do I take these actions?
So it's my pleasure. And thank you for your kind comments. Number one, I want to give this information to the world. This information changed my life and I want to give it back. One commitment I made to my mentor before he transitioned was that I was going to pay this forward for the rest of my life. So it's absolutely my honor and pleasure to do this. But to the person who's earning $100,000 or more a month, they trust their training and they're obsessed with constantly getting better. We can all get better. And when we say think, feel, and act, write out the exact characteristics of what the person who's earning $100,000 or more every month will have. And all you have to do is study successful people and watch their body language, watch their influence, watch their discipline, watch their attitude. They never hold back. So these are the characteristics that you say, okay, I'm going to be that person. I'm going to be this. I was telling you guys this week, like I was a great student and I still am a great student. My mentor used to always tell me, if I told you to do something, it was done. I never doubted and wondered, oh, is Arash going to do it? Like I did it and I did it right away. That's a quality that I want to transfer from me to you that's going to be a game changer. See, you've got to understand change happens literally overnight when you just go out and do it and stop overthinking. We've got to let go and stop protecting ourselves. Stop thinking, is this right or wrong? You're gonna change. Your brain is telling you how to do something better. Think about when you first started driving a car. your hands were tight, you were holding on really tight. Then you kept doing repetition, then you got a lot more comfortable. It's the same thing with success. It's the same thing with behaving into a new identity, making the move before you're ready. But until you take that first action, the next action is not going to show up. And the next action is not going to show up. What most people do to sabotage themselves is they say, I'll do this when I'm ready. You're never going to be ready. You're never ready until you do a thing. And so what I'm encouraging you is to trust what I'm telling you, because I've said this 1,000 times. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And I think I'm a great example of somebody who took their life from failing considerably to winning considerably. And I can tell you the one characteristic that started it for me is I bet on myself before I was ready. And then I found a great mentor, and I encourage you to let me mentor you, because you're going to see the result all of our success stories have. But do exactly what we tell you to do, and you're going to see your life change.
Absolutely. All right. This next question. What should one do if they can use direction but can't afford elite coaching and mentorship? Is it still possible to succeed?
Yes. But get that out of your mind. You can't afford it. Now you're letting the outside control the inside. The minute you make a decision, this is what I'm doing no matter what. You may not have the money right now, but you will go find the money if you want it badly enough. There's no shortcuts to success. But I do not want you ever to accept that idea that you can't afford it. What you're doing is you're programming yourself to say, I don't have enough. So what you're going to keep getting is not enough. Why don't you challenge yourself and say, if a coaching cost, I'm making it up. If a coaching costs $10,000, go see how you can raise $10,000. Go let your mind go to work on the how, but stop telling yourself you can't afford it.
All right, this next question. How can I raise my energy and live happy out of my comfort zone? Or how can I enjoy feeling uncomfortable?
Well, first of all, you got to understand why being uncomfortable is going to benefit you. First of all, you're going to gain more self-respect. You're going to be proud of yourself. And that's where the results happen. So you got to understand what the why is. Now, to raise your energy is you've got to find an idea that you love. When somebody has low energy, it's low thinking. They're not going after what they want. They're going after what they've always done or what they think they can achieve. Energy is a release. What do you think desire is? It's a release of energy. So we have to be working towards something that really inspires us. So pick a goal that you don't even know how in the world you're going to do it. Make the impossible possible with working with the ideas. And that's how your life is going to be filled with passion. And remember this, the world always makes room for passionate people. Mm-hmm. It will literally move mountains out of the way for the passionate person.
I love that. This next question, when I learn, all seems to be good, but when I'm about to put it into action, I don't feel like doing it. Why is that? And any tips to take action?
Well, you didn't learn anything. If you didn't take the action, you didn't learn. Remember what learning is. It's getting intellectually involved with an idea. It's then getting emotionally involved with that idea and stepping out and act. And the change in result will tell us that we learned. So number one, you're sending out a double binding message. You're saying I learned. No, you gathered information. If you're not willing to act, you didn't learn anything. Until you're ready to implement and execute it, that's where learning is. So don't trick yourself because you think gathering information is learning. It is not learning. Learning is always a 3-step process. It's attitude. It's thinking, feeling, acting, change of result.
So good. What are the precise steps I can take to break the terror barrier and change my paradigm?
Let go. You failed before. I failed before. The worst thing that can happen is you fail your way forward. And so this terror barrier is a bunch of crap. Like when you succumb to it, you've got to understand the other side of fear is freedom. And you've got to act. The minute you act, now you're in the being. You're in the spirit of it. And guess what? What takes away fear? Action. The thing you fear the most is the thing you have to do the most. This idea, see, a lot of people are talking, if we're listening to it, they're knowing a lot about it. I want you to become it. There's a big difference. My mentor, when I first got mentored, I said, I've been studying all this philosophy for 3 years. He said, well, what are your results? And I said, they're not any good. He said, you don't know this, you know about it. It was the best thing he could have ever told me. And I said, it was like a veil that opened up. My perception changed so much. And I said, I just know about it. I'm just gathering information. So he never told me, hey, get to that wall of fear and just stay there. See, there's a wall, and the wall is there because you did not make a definite decision. This is what I'm doing no matter what. That's how you break through and get on the other side. And the other side is magical. That's where you're going to experience so much greatness. You're going to be so proud of yourself. You're going to create and experience the wonders that life has to offer. But if you keep going up into the fear and just using it as an old crutch, well, I'm afraid I'm not ready yet, nothing's going to happen.
Yep. This next question, how to find what is your next right thing when you have multiple options in front of you and we end up not going 100% on any of them. Do you recommend any tool to find the right next thing?
Well, if you're not going 100%, you're going 0%. You're either all in or all out. There is no such thing as 90% in, 10% out. That's number one. Number two, find out and ask yourself, what is the most important thing that is going to take me to my goal? And you focus on that. We've got to stop doing busy work and doing the real deep intentional work that is the real work that's going to get us to where we want to go. And everything comes from the goal. I've been saying all week, come from your future self. Now, let's ask an honest question so I can retrain you. Like, I want you to look at these questions. Are these from your future self or from your programming? And I want to train you to start thinking automatically, how would my future self think about this? What would my future self do here? What would my goal demand? Remember, success comes down to 3 simple questions. You have to know exactly what you want. You have to determine the price you have to pay and ask yourself, am I willing to pay the price? But I want you to get the best version of you out. The best version is not coming from fear. The best version is not coming from lack. The best version is coming from your why. Why do I want this? And your why has to be a real why. It cannot be an artificial why. It can't be because, that why is going to sound good to Mikey. It's got to be your why. And when the why is big enough, the how will always show itself. I promise you, all of you are a lot more talented than you give yourself credit. There's a piece of you inside that is so worthy that we got to bring that person out. But we've got to stop defaulting to the present circumstances. And I've said it all week, you have to stop protecting yourself from who you want to be, or else the time is going to go by and nothing's going to change.
This next question, I'm extremely self-motivated. Business is growing like wildfire. People are promoting for me. I'm self-motivated and extremely disciplined. Will the quantum leap happen naturally?
Oh, it sounds like it is happening naturally. You're just telling me your business is spreading by wildfire. Now get out of the way and enjoy it. And keep putting your foot on the gas because we can always get better. So keep thinking when you're winning like you're winning. What I always ask myself, how can I 10x my winning now? Because I have momentum working for me. So make sure you don't sabotage yourself because you're in the process of a quantum leap. You're telling me that based on your question.
Yep. Are there specific productive morning habits that work for everyone?
I think our morning routine is the best morning routine out there. I'm very biased about it, but the reason I am is because the feedback we've gotten from people all over the world. I was telling a story to my peak performers group the other day. I had a professional hockey player message me, and he was in the minor leagues, and then he implemented my morning routine. He said that was the only difference that got me up to the big leagues. And, the morning routine, how you start your day is how you end your day, but it's how you do your morning routine. It's like, we got to understand, we could do certain repetitions, certain actions, but not do them with any enthusiasm, not do them with any confidence. They're going to have little impact. So it's not, it's not just doing the morning routine, it's doing it in a certain way. And I recommend changing it up if you notice you're not emotionally involved in it. So shift it up until you find the perfect one for you.
Perfect. How do you overcome procrastination?
Do it now, right away. Right away. Why do people procrastinate? I want you to think about it. Why do people procrastinate? Because they're worried about what it's going to do. They're afraid. What if it doesn't work? I want you to do it now. And remember, we have to be willing to fail at our future self than succeed at our present self. What is the opposite of procrastination? Is action. So if somebody is procrastinating, they're never going to get to where they want to go. That is out of harmony. And we always attract to ourselves what we're in resonance with. So if somebody wants to make a big jump, if somebody wants to create a world-class life and they're procrastinating all the time, do you see how out of harmony it is? We always attract on the frequency we're on. We're living on a frequency right now. Now, I'm living on a much different frequency than I did a year ago, than I did 5 years ago. Why? Because I keep upping the game. I keep upping my thinking. We want to have explosive thinking. We want to trust our potential. God has gifted us with an unlimited amount of potential. Our job is to start implementing that potential.
This next question, as a dentist who wants to transition to this material, which I've studied from the days of Wayne Dyer, how can I transition to full time of studying, teaching it, etc., perhaps to doctors? Kind of a subset of what you do. In a way, once you become a doctor, you are boxed in as people expect you not to work at anything else except your profession, maybe bringing this material specifically to dentists.
Number one, you have to make a decision and put a time date on when you're going to do this. And what I would recommend is you create a program, write an outline of a program that's for doctors. I work with a lot of doctors. I work with a lot of dentists. Like I'm working with you, you're a dentist. So people want this. And so what I want you to do is forget about what they think of you, because your identity right now is as a dentist. I want you to shift your identity to a thought leader. And that you're here to transform other doctors and dentists in whatever field so they can live a life of freedom doing what they love.
All right, this next question, which kind of goes along with that one. I want to start my own business, but I'm not sure what direction to go in. What's the best way to understand and determine my strengths so that I can build my business around this?
I would write out what you love doing. I want you to write out your perfect day. If it was your perfect day and money had nothing to do with it, what would you love spending your days doing? And that's going to be your purpose. That's what you want to do. And when you do that, you're going to start putting energy towards it, and that's where you're going to go. So that's what I recommend. Start focusing on what you love doing. Earlier this week, I talked about how important our relationship to work is and how many people on this planet don't enjoy what they're doing. Well, because they're not thinking about what they can do. And look at how your passion can solve a problem. That's what entrepreneurship is. It's about solving problems. Like yesterday, we talked about money, and money is a reward for the service rendered. So the better you are at solving problems, the better you're going to create. And a lot of people are boxed in income-wise because they're letting somebody else determine their income goals. See, we've got to determine our own income goals. We want to start creating multiple sources of revenue. We want to start learning how to create our own economy the way we want to create it. But stop letting the past, the present dictate what you can do. When you get in love with an idea, it changes the game. Make your financial goal your love story. Make your psychic income something you really love doing. Create your own spiritual economy where you're doing what you love.
I'm in sales and want to increase my results. I don't have a specific sales outline I follow. Do you have a program that could help me with this?
Yeah, I teach selling all the time. Selling, first of all, before you're going to be an elite sales professional, you have to develop the right sales consciousness. You have to develop the right mindset. Then you have to study a sales process on exactly what to do. And I teach a sales process that I've taught now to thousands and thousands and thousands of people that have quantum leaped their sales. What I would recommend is you get on a call with one of my coaches and they will help you with this. But selling is a transfer of energy. That's what selling is. And selling is a mindset. They're buying your belief in your idea, product, or service. But when you sell, you're not coming to get. You've already sold them in your mind before you even meet with them, where you put all your attention on how I can help them. And that's what I would recommend you do.
Okay. I've had a lot of success in building a real estate business, advancing in tennis, and competing Ironman races. I had a belief I could do those things. However, I want to be an actor, but I have serious doubts about my abilities, and therefore I never start. How can I be so confident in other areas, but not in the one I want most?
Well, you just haven't fed it. It's a muscle that's weak. See, you could become a great actor with deliberate practice. Remember, deliberate practice is not your current habits. Deliberate practice is the new habit, and acting is the new skill. And if you invest in 10,000 hours into becoming so good at acting, you're going to do what you want, but you're not putting the time into it because you say, I'm not good enough. I want you to think about the first time you picked up a tennis racket. Could you hit a forehand cross court? Could you hit one down the line? My guess is no. I used to compete in tennis at a very high level, so I know tennis very well. But tennis is no different than acting. You have to put in the hours to create mastery. So ask yourself, am I willing to put in the 10,000 hours it's going to take to become a great actor? Hire an acting coach. It's no different than the Ironman. When you first did the Ironman, you had to make a decision. You haven't made a decision that you're going to be an actor. Once you make the decision, now you're off to the races.
Hi, Raj. What can I do to develop my focus to do what I must do and not let my emotions control me?
Well, number one, your mindset has to be stronger. So our mindset always has to be stronger than our emotions. And we want to create emotional discipline where you see an emotion that's not in harmony, you just let it go like cars on a freeway. Your emotions are not who you are. It's an idea that got inside your subconscious mind that you accepted. So you didn't reject it quickly enough. Focus is the best thing anybody can develop in terms of work habits. Focus is coming from your higher faculty, your will, where you say, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to be so locked in on it. And I am monomaniacally locked in until it would be harder for me not to do than to do. A lot of people are letting their emotions control them. That's why they're on this roller coaster. And I can talk a lot about that because I used to do that. So we've got to shift your attitude. Once you change your attitude, you're going to change everything.
Okay. I just want to say thank you, Arash, for the bottom of my soul. You have given us too much these 4 days, and all I need to do is implement it in my life. And this will be my question. How do I implement what you gave us the best way and the most efficient manner?
Well, once again, thank you for your kind words, number one. I don't think I gave you too much either. I think there's always more we can do. Like every event I do, I want to do it better than the last event. So I appreciate that. How you have to implement it is you've got to develop the right processes that are going to achieve what you want. The goal always determines the processes. And if you don't have the right processes, it's just information. And I will tell you, find out, I don't know what your goal is, or else I could give you different answers to this. But like when I work with somebody, I find out what their goal is first, and I create exact processes for that person that's going to get them to their goal. And I don't know who asked this question, but I would recommend you, once again, you talk to one of my coaches so I can help you. See, we've got to understand there's an opportunity cost in everything we do. You're going to spend the time and the money anywhere, somewhere else. But imagine you just worked with me and locked in deep with me for 4 to 6 months, and you did exactly what I told you to do. You're going to be off to the races the rest of your life. And that's what I would recommend.
All right, this next question. I seem to have been stuck at creating goals and seeing them for the past year. But when it comes to taking action, I can't seem to move ahead. What should I do to start moving myself towards the first step?
You do one thing today that's out of your comfort zone that you're feeding that's from the goal. I think you're stuck being stuck. And a lot of people will say they're stuck, and they're stuck because they don't have an all-in commitment. They've never decided they're going to do it. It's a wish or a hope. When we have an all-in commitment, the how always shows itself. When we don't have an all-in commitment, we're in bondage. And I will tell you, I want you to stop telling yourself you're stuck. I want you to give yourself a blank slate. Remember, every day is day one. Every day is independent of what we did yesterday. Like yesterday's dead. Today is all that matters. And if today was going to be your best day, what would you want to accomplish by the end of the day? And commit just for one day. Have that all in commitment. And then tomorrow, do the same thing. Just for today, I'm going to be all in committed. Now you're going to go in the right direction.
So good. My question is, how can I stop feeling guilty for not doing the same as other people?
Forget about other people. It doesn't matter. You're not competing against other people. Guilt is one of the lowest vibration. So if you want to keep attracting to you what you don't want, keep feeling guilty. You want to keep chipping away at your self-esteem, keep feeling guilty. Guilt is a wasted energy. Don't feel guilty about anything. Be accountable. Be responsible that you're the only problem, the only solution you're ever going to have. But stop comparing it to other people. Everybody has this perfect life on Instagram. And real from real and fake from fake, but you're not going against them. You're going against your dreams. This is your race. Live it how you want to live and put all your focus on creating the best version of you. That's what you want to put your focus on.
All right, this next question. When making a decision, if I'm on the fence, is that the programming in control? And how do I shift in the right direction?
It's always the programming. If you are not making decisions from your desire, the program is in control. And that's how most people make decisions. I'm going to do it when this happens. When summer breaks over, then I'll do it. That is a losing formula. You do it right away. Whatever you're thinking about, whoever's asking this question, whatever you're thinking about, I want you to make it right now. Do the thing right now. Literally, make that move right now. Because if you keep making decisions from the program's in charge. It's not a decision. It's your old automatic default program that's going to keep getting you what you've been getting.
How do I stop overthinking about everything in general? I have a hard time making decisions.
You don't trust yourself. Make that first decision. Overthinking is a crutch. You're overthinking because you're worried about failing. What if it doesn't work? What if it does work? I call it what if up or what if down. A lot of people are always thinking worst case scenarios, so they're creating worst case scenarios. And so we've got to think what if up. What if I do the thing and it changes my life? I've told you guys this. One idea changed my life. Then it was another one idea. I just worked at one idea at a time. See, we've got to stop looking for the big things. It's the little things that we do every day that create the big ideas, the big results.
All right, this next question. How do I know what my why is?
Well, there's a reason before you do anything. Why'd you get on this call? There was a reason for it. So how you know your why, look at your goal and ask yourself, what are the reasons why I want to achieve this? That's your why.
All right, this next question. Hi, Arash. I have a Bob Proctor training, but I really need clients for my business. What is your advice? Do a webinar, a Facebook post, cold canvas?
I don't know what training you have, so it's hard for me to comment. So if you ask the different question, then I can answer it better. I don't know what training you did with Bob to be able to help you with this.
All right, next question. On your latest podcast episode, you talked about doing what's urgent versus what's important. Can you explain this?
You actually have it backwards. I said do what's important, not what's urgent. What's urgent is tasky things. It's busy work. You want to focus on what your most important goal-achieving activities are for the day, and that's what you want to work on.
All right, next question. You are so calm in answering all the questions, Raj. Have you ever attended any retreat that helped you stay calm? And can you explain the effortless way, as you mentioned in one of the calls?
No, I've never attended a training about calm. I've always been calm. I can be in the most pressured environment and I'd be calm. Like I could be in a room and there's so much going on and I'm even keeled because I have learned one of the best skills is being neutral, always being in control. And that will help you so much. And the effortless way is the easiest way to get to an outcome. So that's why I always say, to answer the last question, to do the easiest way is the most important things. It's just a few things every day done over several weeks are going to create the big results.
This next question, how did you go from being undisciplined to disciplined, and how can someone be disciplined like you?
Well, I committed to my personal development work, really. And I was so sick and tired of being sick and tired. That was my motivator. I was inspirationally dissatisfied. And I changed my attitude in my relationship with discipline. My mentor said, if you're not disciplined, you're never going to create what you want. So I said, I got to be disciplined. But I realized discipline had nothing to do with my activities. It had to do with my thinking. And that's why accepting and rejecting ideas is going to be the start of discipline. When you get in control of your thinking, you control anything in your life. So anybody can do it if they're willing to put in the work. And I was willing to invest money I did not have because I understood delayed gratification. And I understood that I had to leverage my ignorance. Like, I was very ignorant. I will tell you that. I was losing. My results told me I was ignorant. So I was not willing to do it on my own because I knew there was a better way. And then when I got my mentor, I literally did exactly what he told me to do. And that's why I tell everybody, if you come in and work with me, until you find out I'm lying, I never lie. If you do the work, you're going to see the results.
This next question, when writing a new life philosophy, what are the items that should be included? Is it the core values, goals, material things?
It's not goals. Philosophies are not goals. You can make, I'm a goal achiever. Any goal I set, I achieve is a philosophy, but it's your underlying belief system. For example, everything I touch turns to gold. I always play the and game. My best daily goal is beating my personal best. These are examples of philosophies. I never follow the masses. I always say the masses, if you're following the masses, you're following the asses. That's part of my philosophy. I always want to go where no one's gone. So you go on, I always operate from the extra mile. There's very few people on the extra mile. Serving is part of my philosophy. Serve at the highest level. Constantly focus on your ability to get better at what you do is another philosophy of mine.
Okay. The max I've earned in a year was $75,000 in the past, but now I don't. Can I still make a goal to earn $100,000 a month, or should I make a small goal?
You can keep the 100,000 a month if you're willing to commit 100,000 a month. If the 100,000 a month is a wish or a hope, there's no commitment, then I would tell you not to set that goal. The commitment is the critical thing where you're all in at that, whatever that number is. It's going to take no more effort to earn 100,000 a year than it is 100,000 a month. You have to rewire your programming the right way. You have to start developing your higher faculties at a significant level, and you have to get exact direction, and that's what it'll take you. But it's all based on your commitment.
All right. How do you create a mindset around growing MSIs when the MSI you want to work towards is in a different direction than what you currently do professionally?
Well, just because you do what you do professionally, you might not like what you do professionally. I know I didn't like what I did professionally. But what you want to do is focus on doing work that just gets you out of bed. Like you wake up, like this morning, I woke up at 4:45 and I jumped out of bed. And I was so excited for today, but I'm excited every day. I'm enthusiastic about my day because I'm working on what I love to work on. It wasn't always like that. So if you're building MSIs, focus on the MSI. And then once you get that one rocking, then you go to the next. A lot of people are trying to create MSIs. They'll earn $100 here, $20 here. They think, well, they do have MSIs, but nothing is rocking. We want to get one rocking at a time, and then you do the next one.
Okay. What is the first behavior someone new to this information should focus on?
I think you have to build your foundation first. So it has to start with a vision, and then you build your philosophy and standards. Those would be the first few things that I would do. Because if you don't have a vision, you're not going to have a big why to go after what you want. And if you don't have it's like building a house. You never see a house built from the outside in. It's always from the inside out. Everything we build is from the inside. What is our foundation? It's the power of 5. It's our decisions, our disciplines, our standards, our identity, and our attitude. That's where I would start.
All right. How can someone be intentional and detached at the same time?
Could you ask the question again? It cut out for me.
How can you be intentional and detached at the same time?
Well, they're very different. Intentional, this is what I'm doing. Detached, it's already done. See, when we're attached to anything, we're stopping the flow. We're getting in the way. They're very different. Intentional is you already know the outcome before it's done. Being attached is you trying to control the universe. That's not how the universe works. So detached comes from a great deal of understanding. Understanding comes from mentorship and self-study. So when we're attached to anything, it owns us. There's a lot of things every one of you are detached from. Like, are you attached to how you brush your teeth? No, because you don't put priority on it. Now, my dentist friend over there probably does. So he might be analyzing how I'm brushing my teeth. But outside of that, there's a lot of things that we are detached to. See, I want you to be detached all the time. When you're attached, it owns you. But intention is frequency of thought. Like, this is what I'm doing. So they're very different.
Okay. Can you elaborate on the 5 hours of goal achieving activities you mentioned in one of the lessons?
Yeah. So it takes 5 great hours a day to create a world-class life, compounded over several weeks. But in those 5 great hours, you're doing it in 30, 45, 60, 90-minute sprints. So you put your phone on do not disturb. You've already wrote out your 3 to 6 goal achieving activities the night before, and you work on them in those 5 hours. But you put all your energy, and you're literally on fire. You're the best of the best. You're coming from your alternate identity. The goal achieving activity is already done in your mind, and you get to work.
All right, this next question. How would you advise your high school teen as far as a future career when there's nothing that stands out? They are great in school, though, and they do enjoy their video games and are good at them.
Well, I'll tell you what I do with my kids. I have 10 and a 12-year-old. And what I focus on is building their self-esteem. I'm not that worried about their career. And for you, you have kids a little older, the high school teen, I would start getting them to build a big vision of their future and let them know that there is nothing they cannot accomplish. And start getting them to think about what they'd love to do, but don't put pressure on them. For me, my life has turned out really well, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I started in the corporate world and really didn't have any passions, but you're going to find it. But if you develop the right self-esteem in your teen, everything will take care of it. And make sure you're letting them make their decisions on what they love to do, or else they're going to resist it.
5 weeks ago, I made the leap to work on my business from home. Each evening, I am working on writing out my 3 to 6 goal achieving activities. I still get these confused with tasks. For selling over the phone, other than calling more people, what would be another goal achieving activity?
Well, what business are you in? I mean, I need to know what business you're in for me to define them. See, there's very difference. There is no confusion between tasks and goal achieving activities. Tasks are the busy work. Goal achieving activity is what's going to create the outcome. The most important activities that is going to create the greatest outcome. So if I had an idea of what your business was, let me give you an idea. If you were a sales professional, a goal achieving activity would be that I'm going to book 5 appointments a day. Another goal achieving activity would be I am practicing my sales presentation every day. That's it. I'm prospecting. These are goal achieving activities for a sales professional.
Okay. What is your belief around mentorship, and if someone can achieve their potential without it?
It's a great question. My belief in mentorship, it's the most important thing that anybody can do for themselves. Like, I continually invest in mentors. And because we all have blind spots, and the mentor is going to take you to where you want to go. They have already experienced how to get there, and you're going to leverage their experience, their wisdom. Mentorship is critical. I remember one day I was in Toronto, sitting at my mentor's backyard with him. And I said, let me ask you a question. Do you think anybody can do this on their own? He said, Arash, I'll tell you this. He said, all things are possible. They can do it on their own, but what you and I could teach them how to do in 3 to 6 months would take them 10 years with great discipline. He said, a lot of people will create results unconsciously, then they lose it. They don't know what they did. And so I will tell you, if you study just neutrally, the most successful people in the world, the one common denominator, they invest in themselves over and over again. I remember watching an interview with Warren Buffett, and he said, the biggest advice I give to anybody is always have a mentor. And I remember watching that interview in 2006. And that's what really activated me to really search out for it. Like, I've never met Warren Buffett, but his advice really changed my life. So I will tell you, the people who, if you measure them, the people who have great mentors, the people who don't have mentors, very different set of results.
Mm-hmm. Raj, we talked about how we offer several different kinds of mentorship through programs and events. And we were talking this morning about an incentive or a bonus for those that join one of our mentorship programs from this event. It's going to be an exclusive bonus, not something that we've released before, not something that we'll release in the future, only to those that get into an elite program this next week while the replay is available, called Multiply Your Results. And I'd love to have you talk about it.
Yeah, like I always like rewarding people for taking action because I want action to be a part of your disciplined identity. And we created an exclusive program just for people who are going to join us in our mentorship, any of our programs. And you're going to get that included. And it is going to be a dynamic program. We don't sell it. We created it just for people who are taking action. And when you have it, you'll have it for the rest of your life. And it is a huge, like if I put a price tag on it, I could sell this program for at least $25,000 with the information I put in it. So you're going to get that on top of working with me closely and my team. And when I work with you, I am very honest. I am not telling you what you want to hear. I'm telling you how to get to where you want to go. And it is going to be the best experience because you're going to have accountability, discipline, a new set of standards, the right processes to take you to where you want to go.
All right. And let's answer this next question that I know is going to pop up. When someone says, you know what, I got so much information this week. What's going to be different about your mentorship as opposed to coming to your free events?
Well, the free events is nothing close to my mentorships. And like I told you yesterday, go look at our success stories. They'll tell you. Our mentorship is giving exact, precise direction from where you are to where you want to go. I can't give you that direction on here because I'm not working with you closely. I can give you a lot of what I have, but if it's not done in a certain way, success is a combination and every goal determines the process. So you can't even compare the two.
All right, Arash, we're going to bring on our good friend Monica to give the assignment for today. We are going to end today with an assignment. Is there anything you'd like to say before you go?
Yeah, here's what I'll tell you. I want every one of you to make a decision right now with me that this week is going to be the springboard to you creating the life you really want. Like if you've been playing it small, accepting lesser goals, not anymore. Make it a standard. And I want you to believe in my belief that if I can do it, you can do it. If I can show all these other people how to do it, then I can show you how to do it. And make a decision, a no shit, no kidding decision that I'm going all in and book a call with one of my coaches and let us help you. I'm telling you, when you do, you're off to the races. And if you don't, you'll know why. And so I am always so grateful to do these events. I love doing them because I want to do this. I'm going to do this the rest of my life. It's not that I want to do it. I am going to do it the rest of my life. We had an event a couple of weeks ago in person. It was our Elevate Mastermind where we only allow 15 people in. Those people's businesses are going to change forever. They've already messaged me of what's changed since they went back. That's an example. So don't screw around with yourself. Remind yourself, whatever decisions I make or don't make are creating my life. And if you want to win, you've got to surround yourself in close proximity. Like I don't surround myself with people who don't set and achieve goals. That's not my circle. I want to surround myself with the players in life. And I've been doing that for a number of years. So the one commitment I can give you, if you come work with us, you're going to be so much better off than where you were before. You are going to have massive breakthroughs. And when you do it, just make it so simple. Just say, I'm going to do exactly what he tells me to do. So I just want to thank everybody, and I'll turn it back over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Arash. Help me give a big round of applause to Arash for this entire week, which was incredible.